Hello and welcome to the XTrend Live. Can everybody hear me? That's the first question to ask. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so as we normally do with these live sessions, what I do is I'll have a little look at what's coming up and what the news is right now. Let you know all about that, and then we can go into some questions and answers. Okay, so if you've got any questions that you want to ask me, I do have a list of questions that have already been sent in. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the news and then go into some questions. Any questions you want, please do type them or send them in and we'll have a look at them. So the US dollar index hit a 3-week high on some strong economic data. Now, if you remember, we did speak about this last week, some data coming out. Obviously, it's an Easter period for most of the world. Markets could be seen as being a little bit slower today. Okay, so based on some data from the US dollar that was released on the 18th of April, okay, the US retail sales month on month for March increased from negative 0.2% to 1.6%. It was against a 0.9% forecast. Okay, the US initial jobless claims decreased from 197,000 to 192,000. So it means that less people are claiming unemployment benefit. It's a 49.5-year low. Okay. The US dollar index also increased and closed 97.368, sorry, as US economic data was strong. All of those coming from the economic calendar at investing.com. Now, what else? Well, I've got a little list of news that's coming out this week. Some assets you're going to be able to take advantage of, and some is just more for information, just for reference for those savvy investors out there who look to diversify their portfolio as well. Okay, so we're having a look at some tech giants this week. Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, and Microsoft are going to be on top of the tech reports this week. Okay, European bank earnings go into full gear with Deutsche Bank, UBS, Barclays, Credit Suisse, and Swedbank all reporting their earnings for the period. And then we're also going to be looking at some monetary policies coming up. So that's Bank of Japan, Bank of Canada, Bank of Russia, and one of Sweden's banks, and the Bank of Indonesia. Now, after that, we've got some information from Germany being released on Wednesday about its economic situations. And then on Thursday, Shinzo Abe is meeting the leaders of the European Union before he flies to the US for a summit with Donald Trump. Now, that one's interesting because the Japanese and US trade talks are progressing, and Shinzo Abe feels it's the time to go and meet Donald Trump. That could lead to some fluctuations on the US dollar. Okay, so the next thing that we have on Friday is the first quarter US GDP. So bearing in mind what we've just talked about, Shinzo Abe meeting Donald Trump on Thursday, we will then be looking at on Friday the US GDP. Okay, it will be closely watched for clues as to how the economy responded to the government shutdown. Okay, and some fallout from the fourth quarter markets. Okay, so if anybody has any questions on any of those, please do ask in the live session. Please do ask via any means that you have to communicate with us, whether that be through live or whether that be through one of the contact routes from telephone or live chat. Okay. Now, that's sort of a forecast for the entire week. As I said, we're on pretty much, some of the world has got some Easter holidays at the moment. That can make the markets a little bit less volatile. The markets are open this morning. There are some trades going on. We've seen this morning across our assets. So good luck to everybody that's opened trades this morning. Hope that all goes well for you. As you'll know, it's Easter Monday in France, UK and Germany. Now, the interesting thing about Germany is it is still, the UK is the Parliament are still shut down for the Easter break. So not getting a lot of news about Brexit at the moment. It's generally people talking from outside of the UK that talks about Brexit at the moment. Also interesting is that data that's coming out of Germany, so we can see how the European Union are going to be reacting to what the UK coming out of the Brexit means for them. Okay. A bit later on today, though, we do have some data coming out of the US for manufacturing, home sales, and new applications for home sales as well. US market very volatile at the moment. Great thing about volatility is with somewhere like the XTrend, you can trade on both directions, whether it's a positive market or whether it's a negative market. If it's a positive market, you can buy. If it's a negative market, you can sell. Okay, it's a very intuitive and new way of doing things. Okay. So somebody in the live session is asking, how do you set a stop loss or take profit? It's very confusing. Okay, that's fine. When you open a new position, you have the ability to set a stop loss or a take profit. Now that can be done in a number of ways on the XTrend application. That can be done in pip value. So pip is pricing point, and you can set that as that value, or you can set it as a support or resistance number that you feel will be beneficial to you. Now, stop loss and take profit are some of the most important tools in trading in the Forex industry. Why? Well, they do what they say on the tin, really. Stop loss automatically closes your position when you reach a certain level that you wish to stop being negative about. Okay, so when your account, when you open a trade and that trade is negative, the stop loss will stop it going further past a single point. Okay, now take profit is exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, but in a profitable direction. Now, some of you out there may be able to watch the markets 24 hours a day for the 5 days a week that it's open. Some of us like to sleep. Now, if the market has a volatile spike when you're sleeping, in your direction or even against you, if it has a volatile spike where you're trading in, let's say, a buy direction, and it positively spikes upwards for even a second or a millisecond even, and you have a take profit set, providing the market reaches your value, it will take profit at your value. It's a great tool to use when you want to sort of not monitor the markets as much as you might want to, but you can set your take profits and stop loss limits and be confident that your trade will close either positively or negatively, depending on which direction the market's moving. Not all trading is going to become positive. Some will be negative. Okay, some will be negative. Okay, great question there, Samson. I hope that cleared it up for you a little bit. They're very easy to set. You can actually set the take profit and stop loss after you've opened a position. So you can open a position and then retrospectively go back and set your stop loss and take profit. It gives you the ability to react to market movements. Okay, it gives you the ability to react to market movements. Samson, did that answer your question for you? Anybody else got any questions out there? I mean, what else would you like to know? If anybody would like to ask anything, please feel free. Some of the most important questions we get are always regarding verification. Okay, we ask you to provide a proof of identity or a proof of residence document. Okay, this is so we can enable ourselves and our regulators to see where all of our traders are coming from, who they are, they are of the age to trade with us, which is over 18, and the fact that they are in the country that is able to trade with us. Okay, we ask you to give us some evidence of these things. Okay, proof of identity, really simple. Some kind of ID, driver's license is fantastic. Passport also works very well. If we take a driving license as proof of identity, we cannot then use it as proof of residence. We can only use one document for each verification. So if we accept it for one, we can't accept it for the other. Okay, we have to have two forms of identification for that one. Okay, proof of identity, we just need to know that you're over 18. The ID card or passport that you have is in date. And we need to know that your full name is correct as you've represented it. Okay. Now with proof of residence, a little bit different. Ideally, we want to see something fixed like a utility bill, water, gas, electric, or even fixed landline phone number. We do not accept mobile telephone bills. Okay. Now, this is literally just for the information that we can see that you are in the country that you have registered with. Okay, you are from there. Okay, very important. Samson, you're asking another question. You have an issue. We were just talking about proof of residence. It's been not approved. What reasons can we not approve a document? Okay, well, that's really, really simple. Many reasons actually we can not approve a document. We need to be able to see that it's not digitally tampered with. So what do we mean? Well, ideally we want to be able to see all four sides of a document. Okay, it means that when we look at the document, when the computer also looks at the document, we can see that it hasn't been altered or tampered with. Okay, that's one main reason that a lot of documents get rejected. Okay. Another reason for proof of residence is you might have uploaded the same document as you did for proof of identity. As I said before, we have to have two separate identity and proof of residence documents. Okay. So it just means that we have to have some kind of additional information. On that proof of residence, it has to be valid from 6 months. So we can accept something from 6 months ago, but it has to show me a date within those 6 months. Now, utility bill, so as I said, water, gas, electric, most people get them updated maybe every month, or maybe every 3 months, or maybe every 4 months. But I'm sure as proof of residence, you can provide something that's dated within the last couple of months. The other thing we can accept is a recent bank statement. Now, with the bank statement, that can be an electronic statement. Many of you out there will have online banking or things like that. You can actually have the e-statement and send that over to us. Again, same criteria. It has to show your name, your address, and it has to show me a date within the last 6 months. Okay? Last 6 months. Very, very, very important. Now, gold should buy or sell. Well, the really important thing about gold is to understand that everything is up to you. Do you think you should buy or sell? What information do you have on what's happening? Now, we can discuss why you might want to buy or sell, but at the end of the day, it's your account, your money working hard for you, so you are in control of it. Okay? Many people out there have differing opinions on why they should buy and why they should sell. Some people say, well, if we're expecting, as we said before, with the strong US data on the 3-week high, strong US data generally makes the price of gold go down in a very broad way. Weak US data means the price of gold might go up. So, what can we see? Well, we might see the price of gold fluctuate. Fluctuations aren't a bad thing because you can trade in both directions on a CFD trading account. Okay? Okay, another question. I don't see your name. I'm very sorry about that. How much is 1 pip, and how is the calculation? Well, a pip, a pricing point, is the 4th decimal place after after the decimal point. 1 pip is that smallest 4th number after the decimal point. On certain pairs, when it's coming to gold, silver, and anything involving Japanese yen, we use the 2nd decimal place. Okay. You can calculate that by how much you've traded on, the direction that you're trading in, and the volume that you're trading. Okay, so again, that can all be calculated from when you open your trade. Okay, Mia Tan, why can't you trade on weekends? Really simple. Weekends, most of the markets are shut, so there's no movement in the markets. If there's no movement, there's no opportunity to make money. Doesn't matter if that movement's up or down, buy or sell. If there's no opportunity to be there, which is, there's no movement, there's no point having it open. So, the markets are closed over weekends. Very simple one. Thank you very much for that question, Mia. Great question. Nina, at what times is the customer support available for live chat? Well, what I would say on this one is we're always available. Available at all times, all days, 24/7. The answers that you'll get back are going to come back to you available as soon as we can make them available to you. Now that might mean the appropriate team that's dealing with your request or your question might not be available until the next morning or until a few more hours. So the live chat is always available to you, but you might get an answer, after a few hours or maybe potentially even after a day if it's a complex question and potentially a weekend or something like that. But they're always there. You can always ask a question. Every single question gets reviewed. Every single live chat gets reviewed and gets looked at and made sure it's answered fully and completely. Nina, I hope that answers your question. Again, great question. Great question. Guys, I love answering your questions because I can sit here all day and talk about markets and what's happening and this and, different question there every day, all day. But what I want to know is what you want to know. What do you want to know? Do you want to talk about how you verify your account? Do you want to talk about how you, as we had earlier, take profit, stop loss? Do you want to know about, why do you want to know about trading on weekends? I mean, have some time with your family, enjoy it. Weekends are for enjoying it with your family. Working in the week, making some trades in the week is the time to look at that. As I said, markets are closed over weekends, so there's no movement. That means if there's no movement, there's no potential to make money. Somebody has tried to deposit many times with a card and failed. Okay, good question. We see this one quite a lot actually. We help a lot of clients with this one. Many reasons again. The main reasons are your banker actually blocking you making a transaction. What I would suggest with that is a 24-hour helpline number on the back of your card, providing it's supported by Visa or MasterCard. Give them a call and just say, I'm trying to make this transaction and there seems to be a problem. Could you tell me what the problem is? 9 out of 10 times it's just as simple as ringing the bank and telling them that it's you making the transaction. Really simple, that one. There are other reasons. Sometimes people accidentally put in too high a value. Maybe they're trying to invest just 10,000 and they might enter 100,000. Maybe there could be many different reasons. If you've got many failed attempts, what we can do is generally after about 5 or 6 attempts, we actually try and give you a call and guide you through it. Again, we can see a little bit more specific reasons. My initial advice on this one would be to approach your bank and ask them what's going on, and to see if you've got any issues from your issuing bank or any problems on that side of things. So great question again. I can't see your name on that one, but fantastic question. We get lots of people trying to invest money, trying to make their money work harder for them, who can't get the funds into their Forex trading account with the XTrend. We do have some other reasons that we can't discuss really, because they're very specific, but most of the time a phone call to your bank will help you out and get you through. Okay? Samson, what can you say about the withdrawal procedure? Okay. Withdrawal's really easy here, actually. All we ask is that you have a fully verified account. Okay. Now, due to some anti-money laundering laws, we have to be able to know that the money that we're sending you back through withdrawal, whether that be withdrawal of your initial funds or withdrawal of profit, which is obviously more beneficial, we need to know that you are who you say you are and you are where you say you are. Okay. Again, this is all just for compliance and anti-money laundering regulations. We have to know where the money is going to. Okay, quite a simple one, that one. What happens is once you make a request, we have to answer it within 24 business hours. So 24 business hours, we answer your request, and generally within that time, unless there's additional documentation or something else that we need, we will grant that request. Send you the money. The money comes out of our segregated bank account, goes back towards the method that you've requested, generally the method that is your initial deposit method, and we send the money there. Now, the important thing to understand is that's within 24 business hours from our side. After that, what tends to happen is your banking or credit institution takes over. Now, they have their own anti-money laundering and get to know your client procedures, and what tends to happen is they can take up to about 5 working days. It's not an instant process, but we try and process all of our withdrawal requests within 24 hours. Generally, as a very rough general rule, they're all processed in half of that time. Okay, they're all processed in around 12 hours. They leave our funds and they come back to you. Your credit or banking institution will be able to assist you with getting those funds in. Again, my suggestion is the more often that you make withdrawals, so let's say you make a withdrawal every month. Let's say you've got some profit every month, which would be fantastic. Let's assume that you make a withdrawal every month. The more often that you do these things, the more often or not the bank will see that you're making a regular withdrawal. This is a regular thing that happens, and the process generally speeds up after the first couple of times, because they can see the interaction between the XTrend and yourself. Okay? So, good question there, Samson. Is there anything else you'd like to know about the withdrawal procedure? I mean, it's a very straightforward thing. There's where you deposit money, there's also a withdrawal button. You can quite simply request any amount up to the amount of your account. And once you've requested that, as I said, 24 hours from our side, can be 5 working days from your bank or credit institution side. Okay? Hope that clears that one up. Would love to know what trades you've got on the last couple of days, guys. It's really interesting to me to see what trades everybody's up to and why you guys, or guys and girls, are in these trades. Okay. Hope you're all playing our Easter promotion as well. We have had one email question come in, which is you can't withdraw your earnings from the coupons. Okay, that's fine. They are test your app coupons is what I'm thinking that you mean there. Now there are some coupons that will help you learn the first initial stages of your Forex journey. Now, any losses up to $20 will be covered by the company that you make on those. It's so you can get used to our platform and get used to what's going on and what to select and anything like that. Okay, so that's one of the email questions that I've had. Customer support available 24/7. Answer as soon as possible. Had that one answered already. Stop loss we've had questioned already. Why do you look so tired? Well, thanks for that question. Yeah, I'm tired because I'm working hard. We're working hard every day here at the XTrend to help you trade, to help you gain as much profit as you possibly can. Not all trading is going to result in profit. Some trades are going to be in loss. I personally don't like to see clients losing. So what we do is we try and speak to any clients that might be having difficulties or struggling with the app. It can be a very long procedure. Sometimes we need to speak for a long time on the phone. That can take it out of me. I will take care of myself, so thank you very much for mentioning that. How's your trading going, newbie? What trades are you doing? Are you working with us right now? What else would you like to know in terms of the XTrend app? Is there many things that you would like to see? What would you guys like to see us add? We are working on adding new instruments. I know it's the question that we get asked all the time. When are we adding new instruments? Please understand, everybody, that adding new instruments isn't as simple as just, selecting them. We've got to make sure we have price feeds for you guys to see, make sure the pricing is correct, make sure we can offer you the most competitive prices, the most competitive spreads, the most competitive commissions. And what we need to do then is test that and make sure the liquidity is available, make sure that the demand is out there. So if you guys have got any specific assets you would like to trade on, let us know. Let the support know. We'll make sure your requests are listened to. Some assets are a little bit easier to implement onto a newer platform than others. Some are a little bit more difficult. But it would really help if we know what you guys want. If you can suggest what you would like to see, it makes our job much easier, but then we don't have to guess what you're looking for. Okay? So do let us know. I mean, if you would like to see, maybe other commodities such as oil. If you'd like to see other things, more exotic forex pairings, please let us know what you'd like to see, because it really does help us understand what we are giving you and what you guys are looking for. We're here to help you, assist you, and guide you. So tell us what you want, and we'll absolutely look at that. Okay? I've had another email in. How can you stop the notifications on the XTrend app? Okay, good question, great question. My first question to that, though, coming back to it, would be, why would you want to stop notifications? I mean, yeah, I completely understand that some people don't like them and don't really want to see them, but they're there to help you. Okay, so it lets you know when things like this are going live. It tells you the approximate hour of when that'll happen. It will also tell you different ideas on when markets are moving. Maybe there's a coupon that we're offering, and we're going to send you a notification about it. Of course, if you want notifications or emails or anything like that turned off, absolutely. Have a chat with the customer service, and they will guide you and advise you how to do that. But as I said, no real reason to do it. If you don't want to see them, just swipe them away, get rid of them. They are there to help you, assist you, and to let you know what's going on and what offers might be out there available to you. Okay? So, somebody asked on email, I think we've already answered this. You've tried to deposit with different cards at different times. Yeah, again, my simple guidance on that one would be to go back to the issuing bank or credit institution where the card is issued from, and then what you can do, just speak to them and ask them if they see any issues or see any problems with the transaction you're trying to make. A lot of cards these days do come with some sort of hidden blocks that the banks make, so you might have to ring them and tell them that you're trying to make this transaction for an investment, or trying to make a transaction for an online purchase, or there could be a number of reasons. Generally, the best thing to do is speak to the banks your issuing credit or banking institution, and they will help you and see what's going on with that one. Okay. I've got a few people on email asking me about the fitness test, why we have it. Okay. Well, we're a highly regulated Forex broker here. Okay. What we do is we make sure we stand next to and behind every single law that we can. Okay. So it means that we comply to all of these laws. We look at the law and apply them. Now, one of the laws for our compliance is that we have to make sure you are suitable. So you are suitable to trade. Not everybody's suitable. You might not have enough educational knowledge to understand what this is or how to understand the economic data that's being provided. It's very important to us that you are fit to trade. One of the things that we do is we ask you a small questionnaire. Why, what you think this means and what you think that means, and what this situation is and what that situation is, and do you know about this and do you know about that? Then what we do is we apply what we know as a fitness score to you, and to be able to trade on higher leverage products such as gold and silver, you have to actually have a threshold of above 21 on answer of that score. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to come on board knowing everything. Actually, what it means is that you can come on board knowing nothing. Okay, you can come on board knowing nothing, and you'll be only allowed to trade on lower risk products. That is lower risk, not no risk. Okay, there's always a risk in trading. Something very important to remember. We trade on a lower risk instrument, and that will enable you to learn and gain a little bit of knowledge about what's going on, and gain a little bit of knowledge about how this market works and how it can either help you or it might not be for you. That's one of the reasons that we do the fitness test. Okay, one of the reasons that we ask these questions. Because if some of you out there who are watching this have failed the fitness test, go into your emails, you'll find an email that says, you failed the fitness test. Would you like some more education? Now, it brings me on to my next email, which is asking about the education centre. Okay, so really simple. If you go to our either our application or our website, which is the XTrend.com, there's an education section. Now, the education section on the website is a glossary, so it will tell you what different words mean. Now, if I select a word at random, let's say somebody was asking me about a pip earlier, it's the smallest unit of price for any given currency, pricing point. Okay. If we look at something a little bit more complex, which is called quantitative easing, this is a process that entails injecting cash into an economy by the bank of that country. It's called the Apex Bank, with the goal of stimulating some growth. So stimulating some movement or some economy movement, some growth in the economy. Okay, so many reasons to go and have a look at our education centre. Like I said, full glossary of terms in there. Even just reading those can help you learn, help you learn about what's going on in the Forex market, and understand what certain terms mean. So, great question emailed in there. Okay, we've got lots of questions coming in on the emails about verifying your account. Okay, a couple of things I want to say about verifying your account is any documentation that you send us is held on a secure server. Okay, that is an encrypted secure server. One of the team in the back office department will be looking at your documents to make sure that we can verify them. What I would say is please help us out. Scan in or take a photo of your document, make sure that we can see all four edges and corners, and make sure that we can read the document. We've had some documents recently where we can't read a single thing on the document itself. So it makes it very hard for us to verify a person, then we have to end up going back. Documents are very easy, actually. If you read what requirements there are, please just go and ask customer service if you don't know, and we'll help you through. We're very happy to spend some time with clients, making sure that they can be verified. It does mean a lot to yourselves and to ourselves that you become verified, because no matter what happens, if you decide that you want to come on board with us and you trade and don't send us any documents within 15 days, your account will be made inactive, and any money that you have in that account will be stepped back to the source of the fund. It basically means your account's shut, and so you can provide us some documentation so we can show our regulators you are who you say you are, and you are where you say you are in the world. Okay? So verification, very, very important process. Please pay attention to what the back office team are telling you to send in and why we're trying to send it. We are doing the best we can. We have thousands of registrations every day. Some days it takes us a few hours to get around to your documents. Some days it will only take a few minutes, but we do request that you have a little patience with that. Do follow the guidelines, all four corners, with a date, with your name, with your address that you registered with, so we don't have to go back and forward to confirm that this is really who you are, and really, you know, what you say you're going to be doing with the account is actually done. Okay? So please, everybody out there, everybody that's watching this, do verify your accounts. Please do send us your documents. Okay? As I said, they're held on a secure server. Nobody's going to see them apart from the back office team. You know, compliance is going to have a look, make sure we're doing our jobs properly, to make sure that all the onboarding procedures have been followed. Okay? So absolutely no problem with sending your documents. Same as sending your card. We don't need to see all of the numbers on the card. We just need to see that the card is on your name, and we can easily see that the card is the card that you've used. Okay, so we need to see the first 6 digits and the last 4 digits. The ones in the middle, we don't have any interest in at all. We also need to make sure that the debit or credit card is in date. So we look for a date on a debit or credit card. And on the back there's what's called a CVV number. That is to ensure that it's you using the card when you use it, basically. Okay? So any more questions in the chat room? I see there's quite a lot of people in the chat room. There's 117 by my counting. Anybody got any questions out there? I'm sure between the majority of yourselves, you can ask me some more questions. It really helps the whole sessions go well if you're asking questions. Don't feel like you're asking a silly question. No such thing as a silly question. Every question has valid points in it. Every question is worth asking. Okay, so please go ahead and ask away. If you're not going to ask it, somebody else might be sitting there thinking the exact same thing. Please do just ask us any questions that you may have. We are here to help you, assist you, and guide you through the world of Forex. Okay, we're not, you know, we don't want to be rejecting documents, but unfortunately we do need to see certain criteria met. As you can imagine, we're very strict on that, but we're also very approachable. So if you have only some limited documentation, we can look at that and see what we can do, if there is anything that we can do along with you, alongside you, to be able to get your account fully verified. Okay, anybody else got any questions? Anybody else got any questions? I'm just having a look, just having a quick refresh of what I see here to make sure I've not missed anything. Give me a second, we're just loading. Newbie, yeah, Newbie was the last question to be asked. I appreciate that you are concerned about me, but no need to be concerned. I'm just here working for you guys, making sure that everything is very clear and very understandable to you guys when it's presented to you, whether that be on this forum or whether that be through emails or phone calls that happen. Anybody else got any questions out there? I mean, if there's no questions, we'll go off air and then be on air in the next couple of days again. Anybody else got any other questions to ask? Alright guys, well, on that note, if there's no more questions, what we'll do is I'll sign off for the day. Anybody else needs anything, do get in touch with customer support. They'll make sure it comes over to me, and we'll get back in touch in the next couple of days. Keep an eye out for when the button comes live to show when we're live and answering questions. If we don't speak before, have a great trading day. Keep an eye on the US dollar movements later, and hope you execute some great trades and take some profits out of them. Now, any last questions? No. Okay, perfect. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk again in the next couple of days.